Mics are live, and we are live. Ultra Podcast
Hello?
Z. Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
You sound like Scooby Doo.
Because I am Scooby Doo.
You are Scooby Doo. Ultra Podcast Z, episode 72. What the fuck? That was like 20 episodes ago. Episode 89. Fun fact. Actually, I'll get to the fun facts later. My name is Manuel, leader of AJ Connections, as always. And I am joined tonight, as always, as also, with Konaru, who still doesn't have a fucking
Hi
camera
guys,
working.
my name is Konaru, also known as Nyaru. I just got off work, so I'm tired, and I'm gonna eat Girl Scout cookies and play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, because that game is popping right now.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, I actually got it.
Oh, shit.
It's really good, but there's a lot of, like, super elements, like, you know, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon.
Uh-huh.
A lot of elements from that, and it's like Super and the first game combined, if anything.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's I really like it. I can like talk about it more later.
Okay. Yeah, episode 89. Jasmine will be joining us soon, hopefully. Like, very soon. But until then, we'll
Hopefully
move
now.
on. Yeah, sorry about if anyone's actually watching from who was waiting for us at 7. I updated the posts, but I didn't make a new one. So hopefully nobody just like has been sitting around for 45 minutes waiting for us to start. If you did, I apologize. Sorry, it's my fault.
Our one viewer probably did, so I
Yeah.
apologize.
I apologize either way. It's still unprofessional that I didn't make a new post. Mind you, we had a lot of technical difficulties. I had decided that fuck it, we're going live anyway about 10 minutes ago, maybe a little more. And then everything went wrong and it took forever, which is why you saw us like still scrambling when we were live for a minute, if you saw us. And even if you didn't, it took us forever to get to that stage. Like I said, about 20 minutes ago or so ish. Anyway, fun fact though, I'm saying this now in case you want to see more podcast episodes. We almost weren't going to do this one for a lot of reasons, because we're doing a Friday the 13th episode this Friday on retail horror stories and other nonsense. So tune into that.
Oh boy, we have a lot of that, don't we?
Oh yeah. Hopefully people will watch that one. If not, it'll probably still be a hit on YouTube. I have a ton of topics we're gonna save for that one. I don't want to spoil it, but that's happening. And next Tuesday we're doing Animal Crossing. Huh?
I can give a spoiler. A customer told me I should get kidnapped. That's your spoiler.
That's your spoiler. That's pretty funny though, because like nobody is. Like, I've gotten threatened by customers. I've gotten lots of threats of various ones. Like not only just about like, oh, you're not giving me the discount on this, I'm gonna come back and kick your ass. So let me find you on the street. I've gotten that a lot. And then every so often when we stop a shoplifter, it's like I'm like, ah, fuck, I'm gonna get stabbed when I leave the store later on. But we'll save all that for this Friday. Tune in for that. But my point to bringing that up is, technically, if you count all the half episodes, next week is episode 99, and then the episode after that is episode 100, technically. Even though we number like idiots, so our numbers are like skip a few. So yeah, technically,
we're idiots.
I'm still counting it because hope, fingers crossed, we're gonna be doing a furry episode for the not 100 episode. So yeah. We'll come back to that. Tonight, what do we got? What do we got for tonight? Tonight, we have... Oh, by the way, if you're on the chat, feel free to chat. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If we make you laugh at any point during this show, you owe us a like. Hey, what the hell? What's her face? Ren was all for it last week, remember?
She's a streamer. She supports that.
Oh, I don't have the thing. Hold on, I gotta move this, because otherwise you see my mouse everywhere. Hold on. Okay, there it goes. Sorry about that. Sorry about everyone who saw my mouse and was just like, his mouse is in the way. But yes, so like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like I said, hit a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to support us at Patreon, patreon.com/AJConnections, and let's jump into it. So besides all of our intros and host recap, and we're going to talk about our weekly story time, of course, we have a huge series of updates about the C virus. Oh, of course she shows up right when we...
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Hello? You're right on time.
Yeah, we actually just finished the intro, so then we just moved to this one, and then cut your thing out.
Alrighty, you want to introduce yourself as he does that? Hello?
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 She tunes in and then runs away. Why is this a different aspect ratio? Oh, both of you are different aspect ratios. Well, oh, there it goes. Okay,
Your
good.
mom is an aspect ratio.
Your face is an aspect ratio.
Don't talk about me by cashew butter.
And don't. Oh my god! All I remember last time we had Jasmine on, there was that really funny clip that I love that. That was my favorite part of the whole episode when it's like, "Hi, I'm Jasmine." It's like, she's a hoe.
Oh,
That was the best. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit of house cleaning, and we're all set up to go. Go introduce yourself, Jasmine.
what?
Oh, okay, I put Jasmine. Jasmine. Hold on.
Oh my god.
So what's up?
It's going.
It's going.
We are currently crunching, and our house looks insane.
Honestly, mood.
You have a crazy. You came in at the right topic. We only introduced ourselves. That's Jasmine, by the way. So going back to topics, we're going to talk about the C virus update. We have a couple things about. There's a BL manga artist. Her statement on scanlations, which is kind of interesting. I just came across it right before we started. I want to talk. I just want to mention this about the Japanese gamer bed that was like kind of going around the internets this week. I wanted to show that off and talk about that a bit. It's hilarious. Idol Master Seiyuu came out as a transgender. I put men in this thing, but transgender male. And then we have all the 48G nonsense, like BNK nonsense, other 48G news, NMB 48 subunits, Minami Minagishi's really sad MV, other grads, and so on. So let's jump into it. What's new with us? What's new? What's new with Manuel? I'll start first because I think I went last the past 2 weeks for some reason. Nothing really too obscene. I went to an event this weekend. It was like the first time I've been to like an event for a while because I've been like doing a lot more stuff from home thanks to the C virus thing. Not so much because I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I'm gonna like, I'm gonna catch it. Which I mean, let's be real. Part of me is, but it's more so that everything's been canceled, or like or people are like, you have to work from home. You have to do this from home. If you have to, basically self quarantine. But I went out to an event, and then the second I got back, I thought I had developed a cough, and I was so scared. I'm like, oh no! This is not how Manuel's going out. But then,
actually, that's exactly how Manuel's going out.
But yeah, whatever the cough was, it went away like that night, like that middle of the night. I was like, oh, whatever that was, maybe I just had like an allergic reaction to something, or maybe I was just nervously coughing that whole day and just was panicking. But even at the thing I was at, like the speaker event, I was coughing a couple times, and I'm like, oh man, I'm coughing, and everyone around me was all like nobody wanted to be near me. So
as if anyone wants to be near you in the first place.
God damn it, Konaru. That's my only interesting
I'll get on a roll tonight.
I know, really. Everyone's been like bragging on me good this whole week. But yeah, it's one of the big news. Nothing else, I guess. I've been playing a lot of Warriors Orochi, but that's it. Jasmine, what's new with you? I can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking.
Can you hear me okay?
There you go. Now I hear you.
Alright, there's painting in the background. So that I don't know how loud that is in retrospect. Oh. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Pretty standard. We are here. There's no toilet paper, like, anywhere.
Yeah, same.
And other than that, like, nothing of consequence besides, like, everyone's like, school, possibly. But
oh yeah, like I'm sort of in like some post grad classes, I guess you'd call them, and they've all been moved to online only, and I'm like, it's funny because I was already online, but suddenly our class size jumped up because they gave everyone a crap ton more students. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's because they moved a ton. Like, I think the entire semester of the school I'm at moved everything to online. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this must suck, in general. I don't know. I don't know. I can imagine what if I lived a more normal life. I can imagine what it would be like. Though I mentioned this last week on the podcast. I did I am part of the problem, even though everyone makes fun of them. I did go out and buy a crap ton of toilet paper. No pun intended. A crap ton of toilet paper last week. So we're good. We could build a fort out of toilet paper, like, easily.
You're part of the problem.
I am part of the problem. What's new, Konaru?
It's okay. Well, for me, I kind of have to, like, stock up on, like, things like alcohol and hand sanitizer and soaps. Because I have a really weak immune system, and that shit will actually help me,
So,
But, people are gonna still call me problematic because I'm stocking up on things that probably are really necessary to me surviving. That's a tea for another time.
Well, actually, it's going to be two for about now, because we're going to move into our first topic, which is the C virus updates. Fun fact: I went to a Walmart. I should mention this. I went to a Walmart yesterday. I did not have no intention of going there. I had to go out and meet some people for lunch yesterday, and I actually forgot about this because I was so tired. I was falling asleep, and I kind of ruined the entire day. I literally fell asleep at this restaurant with people. Like, I wasn't just by myself, and. And so, anyways, I was like, okay, fine. I finished our little lunch meeting, and I went to a local Walmart that was in the same plaza where we were eating, and I just went there to buy like a couple like drink like soda, and some like iced teas and some bullshit like that, like a couple things. And my dumbass forgot what was going on, so I show up in there, and there were lines, like crazy lines, like from one. It's a small store to begin with. It's a Walmart like market. It's not a real Walmart.
Oh, like the neighborhood Walmart?
Yeah. So it's a small store to begin with, so it's kind of hard to picture, but like it literally went from the registers at one end all the way to the other end. It was just people waiting to like check out. Now, mind you, there were people like me who only had a few things. There were people like who only had groceries, but there were a lot of carts that were just like, we're nothing but toilet paper, we're nothing but paper towels, we're nothing but cleaning supplies or whatever the fuck. And I was like, what the fuck? And part of me, like, the obvious thing is just leave. But I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere else. And, like, it'll probably be like this everywhere else. And the line looked like it was moving fast. But no, it didn't. I was in that line for over, like, 45 minutes. I regretted it. But I forgot what it's called. But after, like, the first 20 minutes, I just felt like I might as well keep waiting in this line because, yeah, I already wasted all this time. Anyway. So let's move on to all the bullshit. What con are you at, Jasmine? Or what con are you going to?
We're going to NakaCon in Kansas.
Are you in Kansas right now?
No, well, I'm going to Kansas. It's this weekend.
Oh, okay. NakaCon in Kansas.
Yeah.
That sounds super Midwest.
It is.
Like, I've never heard of a con in Kansas. I can't imagine like
Yep.
Well,
They have World Cosplay Summit preliminaries there. So
in Kansas?
I know, that's what we said. I was like, Kansas of all places.
Who the fuck's gonna go to Kansas?
Prelims? Like what?
That makes no sense. Who the fuck is gonna go to Kansas?
No one but us, because it's like right next door to Colorado.
Oh, it is. Yeah, my geography sucks. I keep forgetting where Colorado is. In my head, Colorado's far far north, like Montana. Like I picture Montana as being Colorado. Like, no joke. That's like, but nobody goes to Montana. Like somebody, there apparently is a convention. This is really aside, but there apparently is a convention in Montana, and I heard about it. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna go to Montana for a convention? But anyway, so speaking of cons, Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle was canceled. I want to say on like Friday, and that, I swear to God, that kicked off the new thing of cancellations. Because everything is canceled. South by Southwest.
Some con got canceled too. Not the ones that you're talking about, but another one.
Well, yeah,
that's like in the Midwest.
Exactly, like another. But Emerald City Comic Con's not that big. But the big thing was that it's one of the. It's bigger, and everyone kind of knew it was going to be, because like Seattle is one of the harder hit states. Washington is one of the harder hit states, I meant to say, and the Seattle area being one of the hardest hit cities. Gosh, I can't speak today. And So everyone kind of assumed it would be canceled, and sure enough, it was. South by Southwest was canceled.
Yes, that's having a really bad effect over here, actually. Like, it's really severe.
Well, like I've heard a lot of stuff about it because apparently they laid off a third of their employees afterwards. That part's not getting any like feedback. I mean, feedback, any media attention. But I guess they hire. I guess it makes sense because it's a huge event. That it's kind of like shit. There's not even any way to describe it. It's a huge event, and then there's like satellite events that kind of go on around it.
Yeah, like we have a Japan night
Exactly.
with like guests coming.
And that canceled too. It's funny because
no, it didn't cancel. They're still doing it.
Nope, you must have missed the news. It got canceled. It got canceled this morning, early in the morning, like at 1 a.m. They canceled it, and I'll never know why they didn't cancel it right away because they waited another week, but it was obvious they were going to cancel because I was positive that all their what do you call it? All their not viewers, all their Japanese music guests, they weren't going to come, or they weren't going to come to just that. They got like a few pretty big names, and some of the groups had canceled on Twitter, and I was like, wait, has nobody told Japan Night that some of the music guests say that they're not coming? So yeah, eventually they did cancel too, which is sad, but I was surprised. I don't know why they held out. They also mentioned that they potentially lost a lot of money. Like they had already paid for like all the visas.
Well, the city of Austin's about to go into bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, apparently, like this affects so many things. I'll admit, I've never been, so I can't really imagine. I've seen it obviously, and I know what goes on there, but I can't imagine how big it is. But there are people I know and people who know other people who are saying like the entire like industry is like fucked right now because like people were depending on all these big shows, like, you know, as like some of their like gigs for like music stuff or whatever, and now they're out of work. They're out of work basically, like weeks of work, and like some of them counted on a ton of this, and it's not just South by Southwest. Jumping ahead a little, Coachella, they're not canceled, they postponed, but Coachella postponed like hours ago.
Yeah, Coachella is not postponed.
I saw that.
Give me your right hand.
That's insane.
All I know from like cons that are happening like in the next week, like I know here they only like just like updated all con policies and are like, okay everyone, they're like okay everyone, just like wash your hands, and like some people are being really aggressive about like going or not going, and then some people are like, oh, well, I'm still gonna go to the con because I'm not gonna let it stop my life. And like, I get that, and I'm like not someone with like a compromised immune system, so I'm not like super, I guess, concerned in that, right? But I guess like I understand people who are, so like, you know, it's crazy though. But from what I know, there's no like cancellations being planned here. Yeah. Even though there's been a state of emergency formally declared this morning, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's only been 17 cases. 15? Yep. 15 cases, and like, so the big thing is like Colorado Anime Fest is just like our second largest con, is like, just wash your hands. And so like, I mean like I get it, because they like, yeah. It's literally like in 2 weeks. And if they canceled that, we might not see that con next year. Like, it's already a fairly new con. And so I just can't foresee, I don't know. I can't foresee them really doing anything about it. If, like, the unis close, then maybe. But, like, there's no other con that's close enough that would really be affected by it. But I know ASIN, people are talking about that in the ASIN, like, group. They're like, oh, is ASIN going to get canceled? And people are deciding not to go because they're flying. So, yeah.
No, yeah, there are cons like WonderCon in Anaheim. That's also really big. And it's happening in like 2 or 3 weeks. It might be happening sooner than that actually. And I'm so surprised that is apparently still happening. They put out a statement saying it is. And then also there's going back to Seattle, there's SakuraCon, which happens I think on Easter weekend, which is like April 15th or something like that. Now, people are saying that, oh, it should be done by then, but nobody really can tell when anything will be done. If anything, it keeps going crazier. Like, you know, it's not like it's going to just turn itself off next week. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'm no psychic, but I don't know. I don't know. And everyone's kind of expecting that one to cancel any day now. The SoCal Cherry Blossom Festival, the NorCal Cherry Blossom Festival, they've canceled. Countless events have canceled. Going to Japan, there's a lot of weird stuff. KCON Japan has been postponed. Everyone made this big story about 60 volumes of manga of One Piece. I mean, One Piece manga were released online, but actually, like, hundreds of manga were released for free online, so people can read and stay home for like the next month and a half or whatever. The Prime Minister has told everyone not to go out for like Sakura viewing, like Hanami. We actually, I don't want to name names, but we talked about this before we started, in our little like pre-show thing where some people we know, like who are doing like study abroad programs in Japan, are probably going to get sent back.
And I doubt there's anything that doesn't.
Yeah, right now, actually, my friend, he was supposed to leave for the spring semester, and they sent all of the people who were in Japan and Korea to Australia.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah, because their semester started around the same time. They essentially sent out a message like Thursday night, and were like, you guys have 24 hours to decide. Australia's semester starts on Monday. Here's all the applications and stuff. Good luck. They said they would take you. So he like literally had to make a decision in 24 hours.
Stop moving your hand.
And like depending on like so it's pretty much like what they did for them. And right now, actually, a lot of the kids got pulled from Europe. I know people who are like in Spain and Italy, they got pulled back. All spring abroad stuff has been canceled. Like, that's pretty much like what's up right now. It's like, yeah, it's like chaotic.
What else is there I have written out here? Oh, in weird news, both Takarazuka theaters, which is an all-female theater troupe in Japan, both of them have reopened. They reopened yesterday. I think actually, yesterday. They opened Monday in Japan, so I guess that was like a little bit longer than 24 hours. But they opened up Monday in Japan, back for business, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a little premature of them. But like as Konaru mentioned last week, it could be like maybe they just need to reopen, or they might never reopen, you know, because of financial reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how insurance works for some of these events getting canceled like this, because I think somebody within the event would have to have gotten sick for them to cancel it and get the insurance. I don't know, but I'm like, is this an act of God? Because they always have the act of God clauses.
Act of God only covers like weather, I think.
What are you doing, Konaru?
And,
You sound like you're.
Disasters.
Oh, there you go. You sound better. Oh, you're laying down. I can tell you're laying down.
I'm laying down right now. I'm also playing Pokemon.
Konaru, put the Pokemon down.
No, I'm at the part where I'm a fugitive.
I don't even know what that means. That's a quote.
Have you not played Mystery Dungeon?
No,
yeah, Mystery Dungeon.
Like the original?
That's a sound.
Oh my gosh, like Red Rescue Team, like that old Mystery Dungeon.
No, I'm playing DX.
Oh, DS. Okay.
Oh my
It's
god.
really good, actually. It's like a combo of Super Mystery Dungeon and Original Mystery Dungeon.
Ah, that's good.
Anyhow, moving on. I guess we can literally go on and on about this forever. There's a ton of things that are going down. Stock market has had the biggest drop in 10 years. Italy is on quarantine.
Although everyone's just hanging out in the streets, and that's the case of going up.
A friend of mine, I'm like, I didn't know they do this. Now I'm kind of scared that if I feel sick to even go to a doctor, which is probably the worst reaction. Don't listen to Manuel.
Yeah.
No, don't listen to Manuel. I'm not saying I'm going to, but a friend of mine, I guess he has it, and this is weird because it's the first person I personally know who has it. Yeah. So far, I actually know someone who has it. He went to the doctor, got tested, and he has it. And he has to stay home for 10 days. And I'm like, I'm so confused. I'm like, who are they suggesting you stay home for 10 days? He's like, I can't leave. I'm like, what do you mean you can't leave? Like, are they putting an ankle bracelet on you? It's like, are they going to shoot you if you go in the street? It's like, I'm really confused by the process. But but yeah, he has it, and I'm like, whoa. Or let me rephrase that. He swears he doesn't, but he tested positive that he has it.
That's crazy. Was he in Japan or any of the like major places, or
no? He's just been here, like actually not even in LA, like Orange County. So yeah, he just caught it, and so I'm like, oh shit, somebody I know has it. And yeah, about my age. Hopefully he's fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. Wish he's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's still crazy. Somebody I know has it. But more important, like I said, is the quarantine process. And I'm like, how? I still don't understand how they enforce that. Like, I'm just gonna. It reminds me of those memes, and I don't want to make light of it. It reminds me of those memes. Like, there's the Danny DeVito one, which like I started blasting or whatever. There's a version of it. It's like when somebody gets the coronavirus. Like, so I started traveling. And it's like that's what it reminds me of. It's like,
I mean, the plane tickets are super cheap right now, guys.
Yes, but
yeah, they're super cheap. Like, I'm gonna go see my boyfriend in 2 weeks. My plane ride was only $80 both ways.
This is how it spreads, though. Everyone just keeps going around. I don't want to get out to make light of it. It's all you can really do at this point. It's like, it's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. But and even if you're not the one taking advantage of it, somebody else is. I don't know. I'm not really, believe it or not, I'm actually not huge on traveling unless I'm going to a thing. So I probably wouldn't. There's nowhere I want to go anyway. And Japan's all but shut down anyway. And then like, not to get too far into it, but I mentioned
plane tickets that are pretty far out are still pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So like, even if you like plan like next December, like you could still get a pretty cheap. Because I was planning tickets for September, and like a one way has gone down to like $500, like nonstop, which is kind of crazy. So
plan your trips, people. Like, I don't know. And also, if you want to cruise, because like the cruise industry is hit pretty hard. But then again, cruises.
Why would people go on cruises in the first place? They're like such dirty things.
Yes. If you watch the John Oliver special on the coronavirus, I actually heard it. Like, he mentioned that story about like the toilets that were so full of feces that they fell off the wall. I remember hearing it. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. They're dirty. They're sketchy. People go missing on there all the time.
People always go missing on cruises.
Yeah, it's insane. So I probably wouldn't want to go on one anyway.
Only boomers go on cruises.
No,
honestly.
it's so funny because nobody at all that I know of personally ever goes on cruises. But like y'all in the South, like I'm looking at you, Konaru, because it's like like the only people I've ever known who gone on cruises are people in Texas and the people like in Georgia, like all the Peachy Parade, the all those idle people, pretty much the idle people in those two areas. Like, why do y'all go on cruises? It's like you guys are so weird. It's like
I don't understand the hype of cruises, honestly. If I was to go on a
young
cruise,
people. It's not like it's old people.
There's only one cruise I want to go on, and it's this cruise that goes to Antarctica, and it's like $6,000. But you know what? I only live once, and yeah.
You gotta take the plague to some penguins. It's like, look out,
No,
look out, motherfuckers! Y'all getting it too.
Go on the cruise, jack a penguin, get in the bag.
No, not my penguins are my children.
You can get that you can train the penguin. Like a penguin in Japan, the one who gets his like dinner every day, the one who walks down the street and gets a fish. I wanted to look for the Diamond Princess when I was in Japan, but didn't have time. Was it still docked there? Because it's funny because that's the shit. Oh, by the way, somebody in the chat. People are watching. I haven't even looked at the chat at all, but yeah, that's the once again, I don't want to make light of it because several people did die on that ship. So but it's so weird. Like, that was nobody. I'm like, maybe I just don't watch enough news or read enough news, and like I'm in a weird echo chamber. Maybe, I don't know, but I feel like that didn't get enough attention. I'm like, when this all started, people were sick on that ship, and they just locked them on the ship, and we're like,
yeah,
let them figure it out. And then, of course, everyone got it, which is like we talk about the whole like John Oliver put it best: the human the floating petri dish of like germs and everything. So I don't know, but
cruises are so disgusting. That's literally the only conclusion we can come to.
Exactly. Don't go on a cruise. It's just
don't go on a cruise, guys. Moral of the story.
Go to also
literally the same amount of money you're gonna spend on a cruise. You could have gone to Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Yokohama. Oh, it's in Yokohama Bay. You could have totally gone to that. But for those who don't know Yokohama Bay, I'm not. Is Yokohama still part of Tokyo? Like the whatever you call like
yes and no.
Because
I want to. It feels like it is, at the same time it's like not.
For those that don't know, by the way, Tokyo also represents a prefecture, as in like a state, quote unquote. What's the other word? The more universal word for state. I can't think of it. But anyways,
province.
Province. There you go. Province. That's the more, because I think only a few countries actually use the word state. But yeah, it's more of a.
We're the only ones that use state.
Exactly, but yeah, Tokyo is a province as well as a prefecture is the word that Japan uses. It's a prefecture as well as a city. But anyway, Yokohama Bay, that's totally doable. It's only a pretty long, depending on where you're at in Tokyo. It's only a decent train ride. If you're like in fucking Shinjuku, like I always am, it's a pretty decently long one, but still doable. Anyway, that's that. Let's move on from the virus. Yeah, a friend of mine got it. Rip. I don't. Oh shit! I didn't mean to say that.
Dude,
oh my god! I swear I'm getting canceled. I swear to God.
I'm quote tweeting you right now.
I didn't mean like that. I swear. Okay. Once again, I don't want to make light of it, but like I said, at some point you have to just laugh at the ridiculousness of the situation. But I didn't mean rip. I'm gonna feel so. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. He's gonna be fine. He'll be fucking fine. He's gonna punch me in the face next time he sees me. He'll be fine. That's how fine he's gonna be. I can't believe I said that. But I just didn't go. Oh, he said it was that far, but he didn't go. Real fast. Oh, wait. I got my topics a little out of order. Oh no, I did it. Real fast. Oh, not real fast. This is actually a bit of a longer topic. Next one is BL artist speaks out against scan. I don't think I have space. I'll put BL artist on scanlations. That works. I spelled that right? I did. Okay.
No.
I'm so LMF. Oh god, they must have got to the part where I said a friend of mine got it. Rip. Okay. Not to beat the dead horse again. I gotta stop picking what I say. I gotta pick what I say better. But not to go back to that. But I say rip to everything, literally everything. It's like, oh,
Manuel, just drop it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
stop.
drop it.
I just want everyone to know that I didn't actually mean that anything.
Just
deadly.
drop it.
I can't believe I said that. And I can't post
Just
about it
drop
because they'll know who I'm talking about. Oh my god.
Just drop it.
Anyway, hold on. Let me find the picture for this. So a manga artist, a BL manga artist. Do I even have the picture? Gamer bed and I think it's this one. Oh shit! I better look at it because one time I think I didn't open porn, but one time I opened like a really not appropriate meme during the podcast, and it was like a hash thing, and I'm like, it has to be this picture, but it wasn't. Let me make sure it's not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. You can't read it at all, but I'm just putting it there just so you can. I'll have a link to it in the Twitter in the description. But what's her name? Her name is Hatako Machiya. She's the writer of some BL manga. So doesn't know what BL is. What's BL, Konaru?
Boys love gay shit.
Damn. Talking about just
That's literally what it is.
Yeah, but it's fine. You can say that. But I can't just call it gay shit. It's yaoi. Which is the same thing. But is the writer of such things like Orokamono Wangal Night, Chotomata Yo Hanaya-san. I never heard of either of those. If anyone has, I'm sure they're great. Check them out. If you check them out, though, check them out the Japanese versions, because she wrote a message in English, and it's got a lot of news. Because even if you're not into BL, because it brings a bigger issue, that she made a status on Twitter in English, calling out to her U.S. fans in two different ways. One, she said that she's in no position to give away her work for free. So clearly, she's attacking piracy in general. But more importantly, she was also attacking people who sell her work. I've never gone to sites like this, but apparently there are certain sites you could, like, I guess, get a paid subscription for, or maybe like some of the private trackers. Anyways, and you pay to get what are called scanlations. Now, for those who know, I like how I covered up the topic with the picture, but for those who don't know, a scanlation as it's a combination of scan and translation because you scan it in and then you translate it. It is a very labor-intensive process. I knew people who've done this before. It involves a lot of redrawing. It involves a lot of redoing some art, everything. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't not in BL, but I'll admit, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't take part in downloading some scanlations or reading them online or whatever. And I'm sure everyone in the fandom has. But it's kind of rare that a creator comes out about it. And I think it's even crazier that they came out about it, but didn't exactly attack people. But then again, it leads the whole issue in that she even says it herself that she has no plan to bring any of her work in English for the foreseeable future. And I'm like, how do you want people to see it then? Or do you not want people to see it? I don't know. It's a complicated issue. How do you feel about looking at scanlations, Jasmine? I'm sure you've looked at your share.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I guess you say I don't really have a real opinion because when I first started reading manga, that was pretty much the only way I read it. That's if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I guess because some scanlations are technically bootlegging. But so and I know some people who do scanlations at the end they'll be please go buy the real manga, support the artists and stuff like that. So I guess it's really it's kind of like pirating music. It's I guess I don't know.
Similar to pirating music, I always feel now, mind you, she didn't say this, and I've never really heard this used that much. But then again, companies like Funimation, they use this all the time. Whenever they're oh, piracy costs us millions and millions of dollars. But part of the thing is, and I'll always say this, if the scanlation didn't exist, I don't think that they would have gone out and bought the Japanese version. They would have just never saw it. Especially in her case.
And we have, in my business class, we talk about copyright and how sometimes piracy is good publicity.
Yes.
So I mean, it's kind of that argument too.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said everything I've ever downloaded or read or whatever. We've all done it. Anything I've ever looked at or watched illegally, technically illegally, that I've gone out and bought. But by that same token, I've gosh, I can't remember the name of the book series, but that was a book series that I downloaded PDFs of for free, and I remember I liked the books so much I bought them so I could read them easier. Now I love my e-reader. I don't think I've ever carried a real book in ages, but back then I wasn't too big on e-reading, and that's a pretty bad example. But I remember buying books. I have listened to music, and I'm oh, I like the artist. I'm gonna go see their show, and
oh, gotcha.
And in this day and age, they probably, even if I listened to it legally, it probably would have been on Spotify, and they wouldn't be getting a ton of money off there anyway, if it's even on Spotify. But yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated issue. Konaru, what are your issues on scanlations and illegally looking at stuff?
I mean, I partake in it, especially when I was younger and didn't understand the consequences towards the artist and the creators. But at the same time, if I didn't partake in those, I wouldn't have found those series. I wouldn't have spent money on to buy the DVDs or get imports of stuff. So in a way, it's such a gray area if you really think about it, because you wouldn't have so many U.S. fans if these means of fan translations didn't get out into their hands.
So yeah.
And I don't know, part of me feels a little, I feel I don't want to say that they don't care about their US fans, because I mean they care enough to come out and say this, but to say that they're never going to bring their stuff to the States, it just, I don't know, it makes me feel really bad, because there's a lot of people that would support them, but they just don't want to. I just feel like they don't want to put in the effort because of what's happened. So like, it's a yes and a no. I agree and I disagree.
Yeah,
I think there's better ways of going about like this whole situation.
There's definitely like issues with like you can't just make a print version and expect to make your money back, especially on something as niche as BL, as niche as this author. I mean, I don't know. For all I know, she's like a huge BL manga artist, but you could translate it yourself. Whoever translated this letter for her, just pay them to translate the manga, and then put it out yourself digitally, and then you. This has always been said. Piracy's more created as a means to an end, as opposed to like for I mean, there always people who just refuse to pay for shit. But most of the piracy that occurs is because you can't find it. Like I've downloaded movies in the past because I can't find them anywhere else. Like, maybe I'll find it on a bootleg DVD, but even if I bought the bootleg DVD, someone's still getting screwed over because that person probably pirated it and ripped it to a DVD, or a factory did it or whatever. I'm like, it's not official. There's a lot of things like that. I don't know. It's a crazy area.
It can go both ways depending on like who you talk to.
Exactly. But I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that real fast. Next topic, which is a much faster one, is the gamer bed. Have you guys seen this?
What?
The what?
The gamer bed?
My bed?
Your bed. Your bed is the gamer bed, Konaru.
I don't get what we're talking about.
The gamer bed. Hold on.
Dude, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what is that?
It'll eventually catch up in the Twitch, but let me put it here. Hold on. Oh, sorry about that. There it goes. Wait, did it send? I put it into the Discord chat. I thought I did. Did I not actually put it in? It's gonna send twice. Watch.
How could we just pray to Phil Swift and Yaya Han?
There it goes. Okay, sent that. It's basically a bed that comes with all this shelving, and like computer desk.
That's like my bed.
Whose bed?
My bed.
Is your bed like that?
Almost.
That's insane. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, I don't think I'll ever buy this because
I want to be away from everything. I want to sleep. That's the point.
Really?
I don't like. I like to play my games like out in the open and turn the volume up real loud and be like. Ooh.
No, I mean I do that too, but like, I go to sleep playing games countless times, and I like actually fun fact,
like handheld or something.
Well, yeah, that too. But a lot of people actually can attest to this. If they've ever roomed with me at a con, I am not that person who goes to sleep and turns every light off and has to have it all quiet. I usually when I sleep in like real at home, usually it's as if I was still like awake and then I just fell asleep out of nowhere. Like everything would still be on, the lights would be on. I just fall asleep and then I wake up and everything's still on and I just go back to what I was doing.
Yeah, I can't do those words.
I mean, I'm wasteful, so that's a whole other story. But I kind of want that setup. I want that. I want to like. I think I can make. Those are like all wheeled carts on the sides, and so I could just buy a bunch of go to IKEA and buy a bunch of wheeled shelves and just get I think that's like a twin size bed and just my bed's not twin. I'll get to get a smaller bed and then just wheel everything around it and then get a wheeled desk and pull it up and whatever the heck that giant pillow is. Anyways, I don't know if I'd want this, but it is intriguing. I don't think I'd sleep in this. Funny enough. I would just like it as a nice, comfortable. I would do my podcast from this. I'm I'm tired, guys. I'm just Konaru, take over, and I just disappear from the screen because I lay down. That would be me. So,
Okay.
Are you gonna get this, Konaru?
I mean, I already have something like that.
Do you have two screens? What's happening with Jasmine? Is she dying?
I think so.
Well, she's making gloves or something.
So,
yeah, she's con crunching.
Yeah, sorry. I've had to put my.
She broke her thumb. Anyway, that's it for the gamer bed. I just want to talk about that real fast. How do I get rid of this picture? It's stuck on the screen. Hold on, I actually don't know how to get rid of it. So the next topic is actually another lighthearted one, a less lighthearted one. Sorry, jeez. I guess it's a pleasant one. I don't want to say it's a harsh story. I don't have a picture of him. God damn it! I thought I saved it. Whatever. And do you know about the story, Konaru? The IMAS seiyuu who came out as a
yes, I know about it. I actually saw the video when it first came out.
Oh, it won't fit. I'll just put seiyuu. I guess we won't know it's IMAS. seiyuu comes out as trans male. Okay, that kind of fits. Doesn't fit at all. But yeah, TLDR. Shoot, do you remember his name? I'm gonna look it up real fast. Hold on.
No, I forgot. But he voices Shaky?
He voices Shaky?
I think so.
I thought his name was Shaky.
No. That's the seiyuu or the hold on, let me look it up. I'm a mess.
Someone look this up because I wrote Shaky on my notes, so I'm already at a loss. He's from Idol Master Cinderella Girls for those who don't know. I know of it. I've seen it. I actually watched almost all the episodes for our Idol 2D panel. But I don't. None of it really retained with me, so I don't really know specifics here. But he came out as a transgender male via a video on YouTube. Pretty extensive video. I actually learned a lot from it and from other related stories and tweets and comments about the LGBTQ community in Japan. I had never heard the term X-gender before, which is
that's how they use for non-binary.
Non-binary, yeah. It's the JP term for non-binary. Use X-gender. Which,
that's the character they voice.
Oh, I don't know why I decided to do that.
Yeah.
I thought you could save it now. But I'll just cut that out.
But yeah, I've heard of that term before, mainly in because in fashion, they have there's a whole genderless K thing, and so
oh, I didn't know that.
X gender kind of plays into that. Yeah, that's the first time I heard about it.
It's pretty crazy. The whole thing is pretty out there. I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. There are drag queens in Japan. There are countless openly gay people in Japan, but for someone so, I don't want to say high profile because they're actually but relatively high profile, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
and sets a nice precedent because it seems to have been well accepted and well received.
Yeah.
Other details came out. He's not going to. Sorry about that accidental she. By the way, oops. He's not gonna go undergo hormonal treatment or what do you call it?
Yeah.
In order to keep.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in order to keep his voice I don't want to say prime, but to keep the style that they've developed for their career.
They don't want to not really lose their roles, but I can't explain. They explained it in a way where it was they wanted to still be able to for the fans' sake.
Exactly.
It was more of a they want their their kind of voice-based legacy to kind of continue.
But yeah, and went on about sexuality a lot more. Considers himself pansexual. And it was just all crazy. I was and how he thought how before transitioning he thought that he was just a lesbian. All this crazy stuff about and I just never. I just thought it was interesting because I don't think I've ever seen, and I'm sure if I delve into certain sides of YouTube, I'll find it all other videos like this from non-seiyuu. So I don't want to single this person out oh they did it so they're the only ones who've ever done it. But I just found it so refreshingly unique that somebody would so openly discuss gender issues, not sexuality, sexual orientation issues, and so on. So it was interesting. I'll have a link to his video. Also, he mentioned in his video that if anyone wants to reach out to him, I guess if they have their own things to talk to him. I don't know if he'll reply to your comments or your tweets, but do it and let me know because I would find that very interesting if they did or not. let's move on to the big topic of the night: 48G nonsense.
Whoa. Already.
Wow. Wonder what's new with them.
Okay. Actually, let's just start with general 48G nonsense because I feel like for those who haven't been keeping up, we should like do a little recap. 48G nonsense. So for those who haven't kept up, 48G is a collective term for the groups under the 48 AKB48 banner. This includes SKE48, NMB48, STU48,
everything. Anything with the 48,
yes,
they own it.
Except for SNH48 and all their spin-offs.
God.
Which is confusing because they have about 4. But
yeah, they're really struggling right now. Well, even before the whole, issue, like they were already like there was like rumors because they had like this banded one, and like fans were coming out and being like, "There's no one in the theaters." Like no, like it was this whole thing. Like they went bankrupt, and then like I don't know.
Yeah, like when they got rid of SNY, from Shenyang, I was like, oh
yeah,
or Shenyang. I can't remember what city. I can't remember what city.
Shenyang.
Yeah, I'm like I got the city wrong. Sorry, but when they got rid of them, I was all like, what the fuck? It's like, and they had just formed. They were relatively new.
Yeah.
But from what I gathered, like you said, like nobody had went and nobody was really supporting them. So they're like, okay, maybe we launched this a little too early, and they just took a step back. And that was actually circa when SH was coming out, AKB48 Team SH.
Yeah.
So it was a really weird move for them. That it's like, anyways, but jumping backwards a little, 48G used to mostly be managed by a company called AKS. A bit longer of a name, but AKS was what most people knew them as, the management company. And then, as we talked about in that very first podcast we did of the year, they basically dissolved and remorphed them and rebranded themselves as Venolawsome. And they decided to let all the 48 groups, except for the overseas ones, they let all the 48 groups in Japan manage themselves. Like, good luck, guys. Sink or swim.
Like a lot of it was interesting. Because, like, then there's that whole rumor that, like, Aki-P was trying to buy it back because he was you guys have just made a mess, and then the chick who's head of it now is like, no, I don't want to buy it, like, I don't want to sell it, and all, like, this whole thing, which was interesting in itself.
Well, Aki-P has 22/7 now. He can just pour all of his money into that and take down 48G.
He's like got so, but I think he shares that with like Sony and a few other people.
Well, he shares everything with Sony otherwise. But Aki-P, I don't think he ever, I don't think his strengths ever lied in micromanaging groups. So I mean, even from back in the day, like I don't think that was ever his big thing. So I feel he's doing fine as it is. Would I've liked to have seen an Aki-P resurgence in AKB48? Yes. I said that for years. I don't know who the fuck's in AKB48 anymore, and was saving it for later. But especially now that Minami Minagishi's leaving, I definitely have no idea who the fuck's in AKB48. They might be like
Tashiwagi Yuki's still in there.
Yeah, Yuki is still kicking it.
Well, I know a lot of members from the other groups. That's the thing. Like, I know a ton of members from all the other groups. But it used to be that when AKB48 did an I said this before in the past, but I'll say it again. It used to be when AKB48 did an audition, people from all over would come and join the audition. But now that they have, all the other regional groups, in another world, the members of STU48, some of them might have joined AKB. Kuka. But anyways, but and so on. So I don't know. I've always thought that was so weird. Like, all these new groups kind of make sense on paper, but all you're doing is you're mostly dividing up the same market, and so on. And I still find it funny that they're apparently facing all these financial problems when they're selling so much crap. It's just, I I mean, I'm not no business person, and I don't know how to properly explain it, but it's basically the epitome of that whole thing when you grow too fast and you don't have that slow cyclical growth. When you build up a thing and you like, then you move on. They were just like, oh, new group, new group, new group, new group, overseas, new group here, and then it's like, oh crap, we're out of money. Like, oh, let's dissolve and flee the country. But I don't know. That's basically what they're doing. But so, anyways, and then of course there's the NGT48 nonsense, which that's done. But what's NGT48 up to these days? Like,
they've been like, because I still follow Ogiyuka regardless of what, because I really like her, but I don't really know too many of the rumors around her. Not gonna lie, but I don't know. Anyway, because Okapa graduated, so now I'm just kind of sad. But like, they're just performing in the theater.
But they're not releasing anything, are they?
Low.
No.
They're just like laying low.
Yeah.
Like that's literally it. They haven't released a single. I don't even think they plan to release a single. Maybe in like winter of this year they will, but right now it's just like laying low. Gonna try to let it blow over, maybe get some investors back, but they can't afford to pay for anything right now. Like, they don't have money. Like all their investors pulled out. Like, the city of Niigata doesn't even support them. Like, it's just kind of like a matter of time. Like, are they just gonna dissolve them and then have them distributed into other groups? Are they just gonna, I don't know.
That's insane. I don't know, because I briefly, before we did this topic, I actually did a ton of research today and yesterday. Probably more than enough for any single podcast, like all day today. With the exception of like when I stopped, obviously, to like eat or whatever the fuck. All day today, I was just looking up AKB48 stuff and a few of the other stories too. But I looked up at NGT at one point just out of curiosity. I'm like, let me see follow up. But there's almost nothing. Like you said, they're just kind of. I almost thought that they break up, but no, they're still there. They're just trying their hardest to get their name out, out the public eye again. Which I guess it technically is, but they're always going to have that like that stigma. I hear that case gets referenced all the time now. It's almost like the Minami Minagishi thing. Like when she shaved her head, like people who don't even know AKB48 is, they'll reference that out of context. Don't know what the fuck it is. They'll just mention, did you know idols shave their heads if they do, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now that NGT48, the Maho story is told, don't get me wrong, it's a horrible story. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be like, it should be forgotten. But
it's blowing up more than
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you asleep, Konaru?
Huh?
I thought you were asleep.
No, I'm eating.
Yeah, because I hear these weird noises coming from your mic. I don't know if everyone else can hear them too, but I was like, she's either like, you were like, you just sound like you were like a little too rhythmic for my liking. I'm like, she's asleep. But anyways.
I am eating.
Anyways, 48G, there's all that bullshit. Let's move on to some of the overseas stuff before we circle back around to 48G, because I feel there's a lot more going on in the overseas, and also we'll start with BNK first, but I like talking about the overseas groups because
DL48 is looking cool.
Oh, it's funny actually. I actually didn't. We'll talk about them too, but I don't really follow them all that actively because it's kind of hard to with not everything in English. It's like, and now you have to like put in another language that's not Japanese into the mix. So whenever we do talk about them, whenever I feel like thinking about them, I always feel like I discover a ton of shit all at once. So.
Well, like with DL, like I don't know about like news-wise, but I know at least like on their page it's in English, which is interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their Instagram is in English.
Well, to be fair, okay.
And their website is too.
Yeah, to be fair, they are, for those who don't know, DL48, they're from Delhi. That's the Delhi, right? That's the Indian one. Yeah, sorry. I said, like, I don't want to... Remember that one time when I said, I forgot what I kept saying was with the United Arab Emirates, but it wasn't. So I had to stop and think. I'm like, I need to make sure that, like, I don't do something stupid again. So, yes, the Indian group from India. And... I don't know if anyone's a fan of like not Bollywood, because Bollywood's a whole different thing. But if anyone's a fan of like Indian movies, a lot of them are in English. Like a good percentage of them are in English. Yeah. None of them pop in mind, of course, now that I'm trying to name them all. But I've watched several movies. There's actually an Indian theater kind of by by me. I don't know if it's still open. I haven't gone there in about 2 years. But there's an Indian theater kind of by me that I've gone to see a lot of movies there, and half of them, don't get me wrong, not all of them, but like a good half of them at least are in English, like full English. Like it's just I don't know if it's meant to be released to a wider market because obviously it's released here, but they're just in English. I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, like most countries in the world, I don't think it really has like an official language per se, but there's millions of languages spoken in India. For those that don't know, Tipu, one of our bigger members of A to J, he's Indian. So he goes on about this all the time. Because I made the joke about I have a Chinese friend of mine who speaks 5 different languages and all of them are Chinese, and and he was saying that too, like, and he wasn't joking. He was being serious. Like, my dad speaks 7, and they're all Indian, and he was going on about like how India has like it's just not to say it's bad, but just as diverse as China is. It like there's like hundreds and hundreds of official, distinct languages that are like they're kind of like Spanish and Italian, where you can kind of tell some similarities, but they're different. They're distinct languages, and I think that English is such an obvious unifier. That maybe that's why some of these movies are in English. Maybe that's why the site's in English. By the way, that was a really long-winded way for me to get back to why that site would be in English. But anyway, let's jump back to BNK48 nonsense.
Yeah.
So let me actually talk about this first, because I don't know if you knew about this, Jasmine. I was really upset because like almost a year to a day, almost 1 year ago to the day. We had all of our big BNK48 stuff. When I really got into them for that podcast we did where the director retweeted the Konaru's review of that movie. Remember that, Konaru?
Oh yeah, that was cool.
So I agree with you.
To watch the documentary, and I need to.
You haven't?
No, it's on Netflix. Like I have no excuse.
I know.
I just have not.
They released a second one, and there's a third one on the way. But
oh man, I can't wait for the second one to come out.
Yeah. But what was I gonna get here? So anyways, so I never really got into any idol group as much as I did with BNK48. Like I didn't learn all their songs, but I deep dived into the members. I was following a ton of them on Instagram, on Facebook. Like all of them had Instas, all of them had Facebooks, and I think they all still have their Facebooks. Apparently, they delete their Instagrams when they leave. I'll tell you, I know that for a reason. I know that now, but most of their Facebooks are still up. But anyways, the first time I think in years I've had an Oshi, and it was Nink from BNK48. She was a trainee for the longest time, but she's been in a couple of their songs. She was in their version of Kimi Koto ga Tsuki something.
Oh, Kimi no Koto ga.
Yeah, I'm like
Kimi no Koto ga Tsuki dakara.
There you go. Yeah, Tsuki dakara. Yes. So, that's a very famous song from AKB48, and their version was the Undergirls version of I forgot what Beginner, I want to say, but
I think Miori was in that.
So yeah, she was actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was in that. Because they had the whole thing where they were like trying to summon something.
Yeah, well, they were being witches at the school, kinda.
Yeah.
I love that video. Yeah, Nink was in that one. She was in a couple other videos. She never was one of their bigger members, but she was one of my favorites. I actually bought this like a long time ago. This was Nink's Senbatsu pick. Look, you know how many bromides I own, and this is the only one that's like in all this protection. It's in it's in a hard plastic and it's in an over plastic. But yeah, I bought this because I even whenever I have I went to Thailand briefly for another thing, but I even have friends when I went. I'm like, gotta find Nink stuff. I can't find anything Nink. I think she only has like photos, and they're only like maybe she has 10, like literally like 10. You can find them all online, but
yeah.
So anyways, she graduated, and I was so upset by this. Did you know this, Jasmine?
I did not.
Yeah, apparently, and the only reason I found this out was because I was trying to show a friend of mine was asking about her. Because I don't have like a shrine to her because there's nothing even to put there, but I had this picture lying around, which is funny because like I don't really have it lying around, but it was lying around the table. Like, oh, who's that? And I'm like, oh, it's like an idol I follow. I don't really follow many idols, but blah blah blah. And I went to go show them her Insta, and it was gone. And I was like, why is it gone? And I go to look it up, and I'm like, her Facebook's still there, but she hasn't posted in a month. And then I'm like, okay, let me go Google this. I go to Stage 48 or whatever 48 wiki I went to, and she graduated at the end of February, and she had announced it at the beginning of February. She just I can't find any info. I don't know exactly why, but she's like, I'm graduating, and then she did like 3 weeks later, and I'm sad.
Aww.
Now I feel like idols are done. I'm done with idols.
That was me when I used to follow I think it's a Deer Stage group. Deer Stage might be tripping. Sweeney? It's just like CUHYNH. CYNHN. But anyway, so I was like, first got into this group. I was like, Minari Osaka, like, I love her. Her voice is great. Got like super like into it. I got like a towel and like 2 pens imported over here. And I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, Sweeney just like released something new. And then I watched the video and I was like, where is Minari Osaka? I was like, but like then I realized like her Instagram was gone and everything. I was like, whoa, where did she go? Like, I tried to like Google her name, but it's like kind of an underground group, so like maybe someone might know. But then like I went on the official website and like her name is gone and everything, and I was like, I'm sad and I feel betrayed because I did not even see this happen.
No, and like, I don't know, like, I don't really like fan out that often. I really don't. So when I do, it's kind of like I almost feel like now I'm never gonna follow the idol again, because it's like I never knew. It's like this all flew under my radar. Like, mind you, I found out still kind of soon. When I had found out about like over a week ago. So I had found out within days, technically, but still, I'm like, she's already gone. It's like, what the fuck's up? And they're deleting her shit. I have, like, she's just a person now that not that I would have ever saw her or met her. Well, I actually, part of, like, my little, like, headcanon, possible thing we could do was to interview BNK48.
Yeah.
We can still do that.
Well, yeah, fuck it. I don't care about BNK48. Who are we gonna talk to? Music?
You.
Talk to Music or Chaperone or whatever the fuck. Fuck them all. I'm joking. I'm joking. Nobody come after me.
I'm gonna tag Music.
No, nobody.
I
actually like Music too. Music was actually she was kind of my automatic Oshi because all you guys talked about her so much. And
my first impression of you.
Yeah, and I'll admit I'm still never really big on Chaperone, whatever. Somebody corrected corrected my pronunciation once. But yeah, Chaperone. I've never been a huge fan of hers to begin with, even though she's the one that's like pushed down everyone's throats. Not just because of that. I've been fans of the main person before, but there's something about her where she just looks so like evil. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like,
she's like the mom, though. She's like super mom.
She just looks evil, and I just I don't know. I don't hate her. I don't hate her.
About the scepter.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody come after me if you're a Chaperone fan, but like, she just I never liked her much.
I need to just like sit down and watch the documentary now. Like, I like Biori a lot. What I always like lean towards people who are bilingual, not because like, oh, they speak English, but like, because I'm like, it takes so much.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, it takes so much to like have to do that. So like, I lean towards them typically, but I also like, oh gosh, I can't even think of what her name is. She's like a trainee, and I can't think of her name right now, but I'll think of it eventually. But
damn it, Konaru, I just noticed you tweeted about my friend got it. Rip.
Hey, at least you don't know what friend you're referring to or what it is.
I know. Oh, anyway, but yeah. Sorry, I was listening about like the training and everything, but you should watch the documentary. It's really, really, really good, and it actually ties into what we're going to talk about here. Because if you watch the documentary, also moving away from Nink. Nink graduated. R.I.P. Nink. Hopefully she's doing fine. I don't mean... Well, hopefully... I'm going to shut up. I will say a really bad joke there. But, I'm not going to say it. But, she's fine, I'm sure. Hopefully she's moving on to bigger and better things. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's like in Japan. I don't know what else she could do. Idol-wise, she might just retire. I mean, I don't think that they announced she was doing anything else. But this is the bigger thing.
Oh, she's from CGM48. That's why I'm tripping.
Who? Oh, the trainee?
Yeah, the girl that I like. She's from CGM48.
Oh, they debuted recently too, and I actually didn't know. Like, Izurina, like Rina Izumi or whatever her name is. Yeah. She transferred to that group, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
But they debuted recent-ish, and like, I'll just go over that real fast. Actually, later on the notes, but real fast, they debuted, and much to my amazement, I don't know if anyone else was amazed by it, they didn't debut with Aitakata. They didn't debut with River. They didn't debut with Heavy Rotation. They didn't debut with like the big 10 like AKB songs. They debuted with like
Max Toki Yon, no, something three something. It's an NDT song.
Yeah, it's the 10.
Oh yeah, 365 Max Toki.
So like yeah,
like the train song.
I thought it was so weird of all the songs they're gonna debut with.
Well, the reason why they did it is because like Niigata is like up north and like Chiang Mai is in the northern part, so they're like the NGT counterpart in a way. They want to make that connection.
That is a terrible connection to make. I wish somebody would have told them that. I mean, obviously, yeah. But that just sounds like a terrible connection to make. But moving back to BNK48, I have this meme up. It's the meme I posted in the chat a while ago. And it's like, oh boy, can't wait to perform for our fans once again at the BNK48 theater. And it's like, what do you mean we can't perform because the boy group is using the theater?
Now,
Now, real fast. Actually, no, we won't go real fast. We'll look at this backwards because we'll see the story and then we'll talk about why it's crazy and why the fans are in uproar. And it's not just because boys desecrated the theater. It kind of is, but like it's not just that. So the meme says it all. The what is the name of the company? BNK48 group. I forget what they're called exactly. I think they actually changed. They might have changed their name. I think they were the ones that we talked about. Like they changed their names to not just be BNK48 group because they would start managing other groups. And one of the other the other group that they managed, I do not remember the name at all. I actually knew it at one point, but there's a boy group there now who uses the theater, and the theater is located in some mall in Bangkok.
Just like the JKT one, where it's located in a mall.
Yeah. And they're using it too. And like, I'm actually a little confused by this, so maybe somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if they're performing there, but I definitely know that they're using.
Do.
Okay, well, I definitely knew that they were because when people were upset that they were even using it as a rehearsal place. But like I said, mind you, nobody has written about this that I found. I tried to look it up. There's no article on this. It's all Twitter threads and things like that. So good luck looking this up on your own. It took me a hell of a long time to even find it. And most of it, I legitimately just asked one of our friends, Daryl. I literally just went up to him like, Daryl, what's going on? And he explained it to me. And then like I found a few tweets that like backed it up just to make sure he wasn't just like getting it wrong himself. But yeah. So they're performing there, and fans are upset. Performing there, practicing there, using the theater. Now, going back to what Jasmine mentioned, if you had watched a documentary, there was a point when BNK48 had no money. And they talk about this in the documentary. Like, they had like this crazy bankruptcy bullshit going on. Like, they weren't making anything. And I don't think the documentary mentioned this. Maybe Konaru can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember this part. But amongst other things, they kind of did like a sort of crowdfunding event where they sold like, I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't want to call it a season pass. But they sold like a loyalty card to like certain people to support like the fans by like, you know, kind of like, I don't know if they pre-purchased tickets or what the heck they did, but people paid money to basically make sure that like, no, they're not going anywhere. They're keeping the theater. So now these fans who are like literal card carrying, like, you know, old school Woda.
It said like founder on their card.
Yes. Who legitimately like basically paid for that theater. They legitimately paid for the theater. Are upset because now this other group that they don't care about is using it, and nobody consulted the fans.
It's like not consulting your shareholders and being like, I'm just gonna
use the theater for some guys. And I did see another thread, and Daryl did mention this to me too. This is a whole other can of worms, and like I almost feel like this is a weirder angle to come at it, but also we'd be remiss to not talk about it, is that the fact that there are boys there at all, because apparently it was always meant to be like this sanctuary for the girls, so to speak. Like, you know, I don't know how to put it. Like, Not to say,
Shampoo. That's it.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of get what they mean because it's like imagine like BTS going to the AKB theater and doing a performance like that.
This is weird, man.
That would be, first of all, that would be insane because they would probably destroy the theater. But I mean, the fans would tear it apart. But yeah.
Just imagine like a mosh pit.
And the theater is like on isn't it on like the 5th floor of like that building or something like that?
Yeah, it's the John
For a donkey.
Yeah, so like, I can imagine like the people underneath it. Like when I don't know if everyone's ever been, this is like kind of off topic mildly, but if anyone ever goes to Harajuku Quest Hall, it's a very famous venue in Harajuku Quest, and it's on the 3rd floor of a building. And underneath it, there's like a clothes store, and underneath that, there's a restaurant. But my point is, whenever I go to Harajuku Quest, usually there's like, I've only been there for like VK groups. And for those who don't been to VK groups, there's always like the part where everyone jumps in unison. But this is Japan. Everyone, when I say they jump in unison, I mean they jump in unison.
In unison.
Like, it's not like some of them jump, some of them don't, some of them don't jump at all. No, it's like up
Everyone jumps.
and
Everyone does.
yes. And like when that was going on, I was like, oh my god. I felt like it was like a cartoon where you watch it and like you see the dust coming down from the ceiling underneath. You know? I mean, I wasn't on the floor beneath. I'm sure there has to be some like secure flooring there, but still, in my head, I kept imagining that happening because my point is, I imagine that happening for BTS if they ever performed in the AKB48 theater. It'd be like, guys, the floor's not gonna hold that. Stop doing it.
It's like, hey, floor's not really feeling us.
No, and like, I'm sure that it's structurally sound, but if you've ever been to Japan, I always feel, or in Asia, or I always feel like nothing's really up to code. At least not to what we consider up to code. So whenever I feel a building shaking like that, I'm automatically like, if we're just gonna die here. This is how it goes. This is how I go out. This is how I'm going out. It's like, just fucking accept it, man. You're dying in this concert in Japan. I'm like, fuck it. That's an okay way to go out. I'll accept that. But no. So BNK48 is going through that bullshit. I don't know. It's a lot of bullshit. Like I said, there's the two angles. There's like they're desecrating the BNK48 temple, so to speak, and also I feel the far more real one is the whole founders card thing, where like people who literally pay for it and they're being screwed over, and like, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, also that leads me to wonder if maybe they're in a second financial crunch of some sort. Maybe they overstretched with
CGM.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're overstretching with CGM. Maybe don't compare them to NGT, but more realistically, I think they touched upon it in the first documentary. Also, the Japanese style idol group is somewhat of a harder push in Thailand, so they probably are having to just deal with it 2.0 version in a new city, in a new region, a new market, and everything.
Yeah. Well, the BNK does do very well. I think
they do like very, very well, honestly.
Well,
like,
BNK48 has finally become like a household name,
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of other groups like that of course there are some. There's Sweat 16.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's 16.
And then there's what's the other one? The one. I mean, there's more than two, but the other big one.
There's a lot there. And then Niji no Conquistador, I think, has their
they have a Thai
sister group there.
It's funny because I totally forgot about that until you brought it up. I remember we even talked about the announcement of that, but I never followed up on that. But anyway, let's move on past BNK48 and their bullshit. Let's move on to general SNH. Move on to general overseas 48G bullshit. Let's start with SGO48.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so apparently SGO48, they did something for International Women's Day. And
oh my god, I didn't mean that, but we're already going for it. Just do it.
Oh, okay. Well, SGO, they're okay. In general, they're just like kind of quiet. I haven't really heard much about them, honestly.
Yeah, they lay low.
No, Konaru has a crazy story though.
But I have a crazy story about this. I found this out a couple of days ago when it was International Women's Day. Okay, so you know, they go on like I think it's now deleted from their channel, but I think there's like an archive somewhere of it. But there's this video of like these SGO48 members. They're doing like this little punishment game quiz thing, and they have to name like different items that come up on the screen. And they showed, you know, some 18 plus items, I will say, including we may get demonetized for this, but I'm gonna say like condoms and like just very very sexual nature things. And one of the members in this video happened to be 14 years old, and Twitter is going mad crazy about this.
I don't want to be that person, but I'm pretty sure if you're
going to be that person.
I am going to be that person. And I'm not saying it's right in either case, but if you dug into the AKB48 AK Bingo backlog or any other talk show, I assure you'll find very similar things. Maybe not that specifically or anything totally equivalent, but you'll find similar non-age appropriate content, as I'm trying to say, to the idols.
It's a different age. No, just joking. But yeah.
First of all, SGO48, for those who don't, backing up a little, for those who don't know SGO48, they're the group from Vietnam, Saigon? Is it Saigon?
Yeah, Saigon.
Why is it SGO?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It'd be and that doesn't ring as nicely though.
I feel like I've talked about this before. Why is it SGO? But anyways, Saigon 48, they're the group in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, which is also known as Saigon, but it's technically Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
But fun fact about SGO48, the part I was going to talk about. First of all, before I go further, I love the color pink they use, like the particular shade of pink.
Yeah.
I just love that color. I don't know what that color is. I actually went into the what do you call it? The HTML in the fucking Wiki48 page to find out what color that technically is, but I don't know what it's called. But I know how to recreate it if I ever wanted to put it in the site or something.
Find the HTML log.
Yeah, so I went to go find out what the hell that color was. I'm gonna change all the font in the AJ site to that. No, I'm kidding about that part. But anyway, I love the color pink they have in the logo, and it also is in it's in the costumes you see there. Outfits. Costumes is the odd choice of word I use there. But what I found weird about SGO48 is it debuted kind of recently, like in November, I want to say. Let me rephrase that. They released their debut single. I think they debuted way before that, but they released a debut single in sometime end of last year. But what's crazy about that is they had already announced their lineup when we did that episode a year ago. They had announced their lineup months before that. So it took them almost a full year to release anything. And I just found that amazing. Because when I looked them up to see if any news on them, what I found weird was I was expecting to find not full discography, but I was hoping to find at least an album, a first stage, like things that you would have expected to already have. But no, they're still pushing on their first single. And I was just so confused. Just blew my mind. I know nothing about MNL48. I just wrote them in because I was writing this to see if
MNL48 has actually been popping off lately. Like
they always have scandals. They're always okay. Like I don't want to say they're bad or good. Actually, let me just change that real fast to MNL in case somebody's like, "Why do we MNL now?" But because knowing us, people usually do watch these weird segments, especially when I section them off. But MNL48,
they've been popping off, honestly. Like
I like they're in and out.
Whenever I hear about them, it's always somewhat negatively, but it's almost like it's a joke. Like they seem to have the trolliest fans. Maybe I just feel that way because that's all I ever see is those trolls. But they seem to have the trolliest WOTA.
I like their version of High Tension. It's actually really nice.
I haven't heard it. Speaking of High Tension, like everyone seemed to have done that song last year.
Yeah, everyone did it like the same time. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, like I don't know if that was planned. It didn't feel like it was planned because like you would think that they would have pushed that more. Like it's our worldwide single or some bullshit, but no, they just all did it like kind of without telling the. Well, I'm sure they told the other, but you know what I'm trying to say. They all just did it around the same time. It was the weirdest thing. TP and SH, Team TP and Team SH are still just plugging along. I'm a huge fan of both of them. I just wish there was more to talk about. it's really hard to look up either of them. I feel, even if you're like looking at native Chinese, like I don't know, maybe I should look in English because like I always try to like dig deep and see if I can find like some hot dirt or something.
The only thing I saw about Team SH was like there's like right now, since they are like picking up like popularity, they're getting on a lot of shows with SNH48, and that's kind of weird.
Yep.
like they're like so like meeting SNH, like, and some of the girls they're like, oh, like it's our seniors in a way, but it's, I don't know if that's just it being translated weird or not, but like it's interesting, I think.
I have this in the notes real fast. SNH48 SNH48, for those who don't know, they're the group in Shanghai that split off and did their own thing years ago. And they've been doing their own thing, like, totally. They have tons of subgroups. They have tons of other groups. Tons of soloists, which is kind of unusual in any idol fandom. But what I find weird is that I actually have been getting really into them over the past, like, few months. Just really, they have some amazing songs that, like, I've never heard before, and I'm just, like, deep diving into their music. Like, their entire discography. Stuff I hadn't heard in, like, at all. And TLDR, I've been diving along to their stages and their lives. Now, I don't know if anyone knows this, but they still perform not only their old AKB48 covers, like the ones they recorded back in the day, but they also perform new ones. Like, they cover, like, I think they covered No Way Man at one of their like extra stages, and like some other like newer, like, you know, SKE songs and so on. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you guys are covering like songs you didn't cover back then. I just find that so amusing. I actually messaged Jasmine about this about a month ago. They also cover they also cover like just songs, like popular songs, like most of them are Chinese, but they cover like, you know, popular songs like on the like not their songs, like, oh, this song was the #1 hit in like China, we're gonna include it in our stage. And I'm like, what the fuck? And to be honest, I actually found that out in reverse, because I thought I would think songs were theirs until I went to go look them up on YouTube to go find a version of it. I'm like, what the fuck? That wasn't them. And I find the original. Anyway. But and they also have funny song names. They actually have a stage called Hakuna Matata, and they have a song called Hakuna Matata. Now, you go into that, and you're expecting them to, like, do, like, Lion King 2.0 or some bullshit. No! The song is not Timon and Pumbaa singing Hakuna Matata. It's a totally different, new Chinese song that sings about, like, unrequited love, and then the chorus, they're just chanting Hakuna Matata in the background. I'm not making this up. It is the weirdest thing ever.
Now, I need to watch this now.
It's the weirdest thing ever. Yes, SNH48. It's one of I think it's like their second newest stage, like not their most recent one, but one of their newer stages from last year, called Hakuna Matata. But I'll send you. Yeah, look it up. I'm sure you can find it in English. I mean, typing in Hakuna Matata. If not, I'll give you the Chinese later, because there's like a Chinese, like, you know, written out version of it. But anyways,
TJ, right?
No, it's SNH48. Oh yeah, I've seen, yeah. So moving back around, just to keep moving while Konaru's having fun with that. We talked about them already, but DEL48. We'll just go real fast.
Everyone's very confused as to what they're about to do, because like their first like shoot, like their profile pics were sponsored by Nike.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like they're all wearing Nike. And then like everyone's like, is this supposed to be like a hip hop group? And I'm like, I don't listen to any indie music, so I have no idea what to expect. But like a lot of the girls are like one of the girls was was like a runner up for like, or had competed in like the Miss India contest, like pageants.
Oh, shit.
Like some of them are like, were already fairly like Insta famous ish. Like it's very interesting. So like then they released their overture, which is like
basic.
Yeah, and so like.
So have they debuted yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, like we don't have a song or anything yet. Okay. Which I hope they just do something like, if the way that they're acting, they're about to do like beginner Uza, like with the whole like hip hoppy look.
Similar.
I think I'll do some random B-side, but who knows?
Similar. No, I actually didn't mention this, but what I wanted to mention when I was mentioning how CGM48 the Chiang Mai group. I was gonna mention that they didn't pick a popular AKB song. Part of me wished that if other groups were not gonna pick the obvious song, they might just make a new one, because we didn't talk about that at all. But BNK48 actually has like a couple new songs. They have several, but like some of the recent singles were new songs. Were like as in like completely original, not a AKB song. You know, they just wrote new songs. I kind of wish that some of these other groups. And again, I guess if you're starting out, you might not have the money to go that like all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really hard for me to find a picture of DEL48. I found one on Twitter. I couldn't find one I couldn't find an official one. I think this is from their Twitter though, like the DEL48 official Twitter. So, but I don't know what the fuck this event's at. I hate pictures that are shot this way. I've mentioned this before, and I hate people who do photography this way. There's a certain, you don't want to frame it all like that, but I hate where there's so much dead space. Unless you're going to put writing there, there's no reason why the head is the center of the photo. And then you leave this whole dead space above the head. Anyway, that's a rant I have about photography. But,
Wow, you didn't call me out like that. Just kidding. I actually don't do photos like that. I find them really unappealing.
You know how many times I hand my phone to someone, and I'm like, can you take a picture of us? You know, like I'm there with a friend or like in a group or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And those people will always take the pictures like that. They're like, oh, I took a picture. And I'm like, why the fuck did you put everyone's head in the middle?
That's why I take my own photos.
Yeah, I hate it. It's like, it's like, who does that? A lot of people apparently. But yeah, I'm like, why did you do that? Anyway, that's all I have to say about the AL48. So I think that's it for the overseas groups. We kind of touched upon all of them. Blah, 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 SNH. But yeah, that's everything. That's everything I had written out. NMB48. So is Lapis Arch another subunit?
Lapis
They
Arch
have so many subunits now.
No.
Lapis Arch is the NMB48 subunit. That's like their three like future aces. It's like Umeyama Kokona, Yamamoto Ayaka, and one more girl who I can't remember the name of right now. But like they're pretty. I mean, I'm excited for the unit because those were like my next gen type of like on the Oshi radar. It's like, you know, I love Miru, but she won't be there forever. I've accepted that.
I don't have a picture of them. I took a picture of Danceable.
Danceable is cool. It makes me happy.
But I did find it interesting to know because I didn't have time to really totally deep dive into this. But have there always been active subunits? Because I feel like subunits were a thing way back at the beginning of AKB48. And they kind of just stopped.
We haven't really had an active subunit doing performances since like I want to say Tentomochu era.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was like the last subunit we ever had.
See, I was thinking about that too. I was right. Yeah.
The big thing is a lot of people who get in these subunits end up graduating.
Yeah.
Like very soon after the subunits formed, or like. Because like I know when they had like Dendemochu versus Tentomochu, like it was like like these kinds of aces versus these kinds of aces, and then like Owada Nana graduated and her whole thing, and Dendemochu kind of went down, and Tentomochu kind of survived because then Nachan started getting popular, and you know, kind of the re-rise of the Three Musketeers. But
Tentomochu reunion win.
Well, that's kind of the norm for any subunit. Like I always talk about the Hollow Project subunits, which also don't exist anymore, by the way. None of them do. They haven't for ages. But like back when they would form, they would have like one album and like two singles if you're lucky, and then one member will leave. And they're so small that like you notice the member leaving, but then you just replace them. But then I guess that defeats the whole purpose of having to. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, so I understand.
Actually, they have the new NMB also has, besides Danceable and Lapis Arc, they have what's the one? It has Yoshida Akari in it. And
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and one of the members, Oda Yuri, I believe, was in that. She graduated, and they still technically get B-sides and stuff. I think that's kind of what most of the subunits are. They get, like, a lot of B-sides.
That makes more sense.
And, like, I think Lapis Arc is also supposed to be getting a solo concert, I think.
Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, like, they've been doing pretty, like, intense on, like, solo concerts. Everyone's getting a solo concert now. So, like...
Oh, we will stop for each other. Go ahead.
No, you did. I'm just trying to find the name of this subunit, but you're good.
But anyways, go real fast while you're looking that up too. I'll talk about Danceable a bit because I actually looked them up a lot. Like when I looked up Lapis Arc, I already forgot their name.
Yeah.
Lapis Arc. When I looked them up, I didn't find a whole lot. I found a lot of performances, but I couldn't find a lot of info on them. But I looked up Danceable. I found a ton of shit, mainly because
they've been around for a while.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, when you wrote them down, I thought they were new, but they actually been around for a while. Because I found videos that were from, like, I don't know how long ago, but they're pretty old. They're a dance cover group. They kind of remind me of USVS, what the fuck they were called? Up Girls used to have a dance, they would have an alter ego, like, dance cover group. They'd call themselves something else, and they would do dance covers. It seems similar to that, obviously, the subunit. They have a lot of AKB48 songs. I have a note in there. Do they do non-AKB48 covers? Because I all their music is like mixed into the NMB48 channel, so I couldn't just find. They don't have their own channel as far as I know.
They do now.
Oh, they do now.
I believe they do now. Yeah.
But a lot of them I found the NMB channel, and I was like, I just like feel like I'm digging through a million videos, so I find like one more of theirs. You can tell because of the thumbnail, but I'm like, do they do non-AKB or non-48G covers? I should say, or do they
Not
just?
That I know of yet.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they're a dance cover group, so it's kind of interesting because if you're in order to meet the person, you can mirror that shit and learn all the dances really easily.
I know. It makes me happy because I'm like, I remember trying to like learn or even look up an AKB dance, and like they had those old, like the only ones you could find were obviously like Chorus, Fortune Cookie, or like Heavy Rotation, or like Just Dance. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Are dance shot videos not a thing anymore? Because
no, not even Hello Project does them.
No, it's
anymore.
funny. It's funny you've been because like I don't know because for the record, for those who don't know, that there's when they release an MV, a lot of times at least they used to be, they would release other versions too. Like they release a single DVD or whatever you call them, a DVD single, and they'd have like or a special edition of the CD would come with a DVD, and in there you might get like the video, the dance shot, and the making of, but like. A lot of times they wouldn't upload the dance shot to like YouTube because they might sell that. But I looked it up and I'm like, what happened to dance shots? I just thought about that, like, because when I started looking up Danceable, I have it in the notes too. I looked it up. I'm like, what happened to dance shots? Are they just like they cracking down, or they just don't exist anymore? Like, or are they just rarer? I think it's a mixture of all of them. But yeah. Rip to the dance shot, MV.
But
first F for the chat, boys.
Or at least partially.
But yeah.
Because
fun fact though, I think I mentioned this in the past. When we used to be closer with Hello Project, and we knew people there, and we talked to them at Upfront and so on. They mentioned that not just them, not just Upfront, but like in Japan, that to them the MVs are also something to sell. So that's why if you look up some of your favorite artists, they have like they might not have the full, like AKB48, like a lot of their stuff. They have like the promo versions, like the ones that are like a 90 seconds, or or Avex will upload the short ones that only last to like 2 minutes. Or just as annoying, some of those VK groups will upload those videos where the whole video is up, but it's covered like in ads, like ads for the CD. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the band names here, one whole quarter of the screen, the CD pictures here, release date, whatever. First one man Akasaka Blitz, July 20. All that info's all over the screen. It's like it's all on top of the MV. But yeah, the reason being is that if you want to watch it like legit, you go out and you buy a limited edition A that comes with the DVD or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like the only one who never did mainly the short versions was NMB48. Like Yoshimoto never, like they always had the full versions of their MVs. Like they'd release a short version, and then a while after the single they'd release the full version. But then AKB did that too. Like they'd wait like a few years.
I know, that's weird. Like there's a ton of
but now they release the full versions. So I think that's definitely interesting.
Well, I also haven't talked to anyone like too close in like the industry the way I used to. Not to lie, that person from Upfront was kind of like my true inside guy, like way in there, and he spoke English and it was easy to talk to. So I don't know if things have changed, but I think they have. Obviously, like the days of like literally selling a 3-minute MV, you're done. You're not gonna. The money's not there anymore. Just release it.
Yeah, and then like put it now. Like a lot of idol groups getting on Spotify and stuff. Like I think finally. I mean, I'm not gonna be like Japan is opening up, but like I don't know. It's interesting.
But
they're letting go of some stuff.
So yeah, Danceable's there, and I remember the notes too. Of course, we already mentioned at the top of the segment that 48G in general is kind of off to their own devices. They're not really answering to AKS anymore. But I did find it interesting that of all the groups that are doing a ton of subunits, it's NMB because they've always been doing their own shit.
Yeah, they really are.
They've always been like a creature of their own device or whatever, doing their own bullshit. In a good way. It's sad because I've never been a huge fan of their music.
Yeah, neither have I. But like some of their cooler songs, like Must Be Now, and like they do really well with that kind of like cool punk girl whatever like type of thing. Because when they get like NMB like super cutesy songs, it just is weird. I don't know. It's just this like they can get goofy songs, but like kid songs just don't really. I don't know. That's not really the energy I get from NMB.
So let's move on. I guess we'll have this be the last topic, then we'll start wrapping up. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that we'd not that I thought this would be that we wouldn't have this to talk about, but in my head I pictured this to be a shorter episode, mainly because I already mentioned that we're doing another podcast on Friday. I didn't want to like over podcast not only myself but like our audience. But we've been doing really good. So last topic before we move on to our wrapping it up. There's actually a lot more we can talk about, but we'll leave it here anyway. Is Minami Minagishi's last MV?
I have not watched it, and I don't want to watch it.
I haven't watched it, and I'm scared to watch it.
I saw that one screenshot that I sent you, and it was like, no, that is not happening.
I haven't watched it either.
You pretend it doesn't exist, so it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's funny you said that because I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, I didn't go watch it either. I was like, and obviously you can. It's not like I couldn't find it. I had more than time to do it. I was just like, I didn't want to watch it. It looks so sad. Now, obviously, like the picture I'm showing them, it's not a very good picture. I think you actually did send me a much better one. But she's there amongst a lot of empty chairs, and each chair represents like the
first
generation members who have all gone because she's the last one. And
talking about it just
by the way, this is a huge aside, but the song, I mean the title Empty Chairs made me think about it. And I was talking to a friend about this recently. And you guys ever heard the song Killing Me Softly? It's a very famous song, everyone knows the song, right?
Oh yeah, Killing Me Softly.
Okay. Now if you know the lyrics where it talks about like, Killing Me Softly with his song is all about hearing somebody play a song.
Mm-hmm.
Now for those who don't know, the song that the songwriter had heard, I can't remember her name. The song she had heard was a song by a guy named Don McLean. Now Don McLean is more famous. He did a song called American Pie. Everyone knows that song too. But the song she heard was a song called Empty Chairs, and it's a song about like this guy's lover leaves him, and all he sees is chairs that she used to put like her clothes on and things like that, and he's all sad because all he sees is empty chairs. And so my point to all this is that now that song is like sad as fuck too. Listen to Killing Me Softly, listen to Empty Chairs, and now just put Minami Minagishi's song on then after that, and then just die. I mean, you'll be so depressed afterwards. It's like, but yeah, my point is the whole empty chair analogy. Whenever I see that, I think of that song, and then of course it cycles back to Killing Me Softly and everything like that. But yeah, it's that song's a really sad song, and it just draws me back to this. So I refuse to watch this MV. I refuse to hear the song. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. As far as I'm concerned, she left quietly. She just she didn't leave. She just like went out to get some milk. She's
to get some milk. That's a good analogy. I like that better. Yes. The song should have been she's just gonna go out to get some milk.
That's all. Oh my god. But yeah.
It should have been a fun one like Sashi, where it's like, yeah, no matter, even if I die, I'm still gonna be an idol. But
yeah,
no, her should have been like, yeah, She's like, "I'll be right back, guys."
Yeah. No, exactly. Coming back. No, just keep waiting. Yeah, that's as far as I'm concerned. That's what happened. That's what happened here. But yeah, there's this new MV. I wish I wrote down the name of the song.
It's like we'll meet again.
Yeah, it's sad.
We'll be able to meet again or something like that.
It's funny because I also had this real fast. I had the picture. I didn't save it, but we mentioned the Hanami thing that the Prime Minister said don't no one go to Hanamis if you can avoid it, and then of course fucking Nogizaka46 did an Asahi beer commercial where they're like at a Hanami.
That was like weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know, no, but I meant to include that way above, with the Hanami thing. No, it's not weeks ago. It's an ongoing ad, Kono. That's how ads work. They don't just show it one day.
Yeah, but it was like it debuted like weeks ago.
But yeah, but now that the Prime Minister said don't go, it looks really awkward. But anyway. I just find it funny, going back to this, I find it funny that Minami Minegishi has, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always mentioned it back in the past, like, I never vilified her for anything she did, but I just find it so funny that she went from, like, and no one's ever going to talk about this stuff, everyone's always going to, she's just like, I don't want to use that example, but she'll always be a horrible, I had an example in my head, but I'll tell you guys later, but I'm not going to say it publicly out loud, but she'll always be the horrible example of something that like happens, but no one's gonna remember for the other stuff. So I find it so sad. Everyone's gonna remember that she shaved her head, but not that she stayed in the group for like not only years, but she also managed to like.
She was captain of multiple group, or multiple teams too.
Yeah.
She like recaptured her. I don't want to say her fame, but like she definitely built herself back up from any negativity that you might have felt. Like, I don't think anyone really hates her. Nobody's going around like, she like went out with Alan Shirahana from Generations, where the fuck. Which, by the way, still pisses me off that nobody ever cared about him. Like, he's been fine. Yeah. He's been fine the past 10 years, like since, or however long it's been. I think it's been 10 years since this all happened.
I think it's been close to that, actually.
So it's insane that he's been fine, but she's always going to be the person that happened to. Like, I can't tell you, like that fucking RPG monger motherfucker that we talked about like months ago, years ago, I think it was like a year ago now, who included her story in the thing, and I think she was even in the thumbnail. I'm like, dude, come on. Not so much can we stop talking about it, because it's worth mentioning, but can we put it in context? Like, and like, I don't know. Anyways, that's it. It's sad. Minami Minegishi did not leave. She just stepped out for some milk. She'll be right back.
That should have been her single, or like her graduation single. Bye, I'll be right back. She never comes back.
Oh, God.
Now I'm gonna be salty about it.
Anyway, if anyone watched it, let us know what it's like, and don't link it to me. I'll be so upset. I won't click on any YouTube links, obviously, but just I mean, it's not a smart idea to click on any links you find in like a comment description to begin with. So just but
Manuel, you sound like a boomer.
It isn't. It's just. Come on.
Yeah, but that's basic knowledge. You don't need to tell anyone.
You'd be surprised. I mean, not just boomers. There's also like, do you know there also are young, untech savvy people? Like I have this friend of mine who's like, she's like a little younger than me. She's so, and mind you, now that she's like in her mid-20s, I could tell that she's gonna be one of those like middle-aged people who doesn't know shit about computers, even though she literally grew up with them. And she's younger than me, so she's like pretty much never not had a phone, that kind of thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? How do you not know things? Anyways, my point is that boomer is a state of mind. I know many a young, quote unquote, young boomer, but anyways, let's start wrapping this up with some closing, wrap up and closing. Real fast. I can't even spell. I put closing wrong. Real fast before we actually like wrap this up. Because I don't want to rush through this. I mentioned earlier this Friday we're doing retail horror stories here at 7:30 or 7. I don't know what time Konaru. Actually, maybe 7. With Konaru, and with someone else that we don't know yet. I'll find somebody. I think I'll find someone random. It's such an easy topic. I'm gonna mind you, it's not gonna just be retail horror stories. I don't want to like spill it all, but we're gonna talk about like customer stereotypes, like the Karens and so on, about some of the ones we meet and whether it's true or not. And I also think it's very fun to talk about because I had this conversation with a friend of mine kind of recently about like the times when we may have been the bad customers that we may have caused like a retail horror story from like, because we've all been there too, I'm sure. So we'll have some fun.
No, I can firmly say like
you've yelled at some employees, I'm sure. We've all yelled.
I haven't.
No, we've all been that person where like the stupid employee at such and such like fucked up my order at like McDonald's, or like so and so wouldn't do my return at Target, and like we've all had those.
The thing is, I don't know. I'm too. I guess I don't want to say I'm smart, but like I have common sense.
End up on Reddit.
I have more common sense than the average person, like, especially where I am. Because, like, people do not read. People just, like, are so selfish, and, like, I don't know. I literally try my best not to be that person, and I always apologize. I don't know if it's, like, my anxiety or anything, or I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to get you in trouble or anything, but, this happened. That's always me. So I feel like, I may have gotten upset once, but that's because they were like being really, really, really rude to me.
See, but we'll tell that story.
But that doesn't. I don't think that counts because that's like being rude. It's not like me trying to insinuate something. It was them insinuating on me.
I'm not gonna lie. There are some stories, and like I'm not saying that I'm always right. No one ever is. But there are some stories that I think about. And like, not to say like I ever was purposely an asshole, but there've been some times that I've been involved in some retail horror stories where I look back and I'm like, I wonder what the other side of that story was. Like, I'm definitely someone's like arch nemesis in some of these.
I don't think I've ever had any crazy. The only issue I've ever had was like getting on an airline.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah, no, I take that back. It was one time but like I was also nice on that. But I look back and I'm like,
like I've yelled at people.
Racially profiled.
Oh god, if you want to go there, I got some. Anyway,
I have stories about that where at least one, because it happened recently on my recent Japan trip. I think I talked about it before.
You did actually. Oh my god. But though I have stories, and I actually have a couple crazy stories in other countries. But anyways, save that for Friday. It's Friday the 13th. We skipped the last Friday the 13th. I mentioned that we're definitely going to do them all again. There's only 2 this year. There's this one. There's one in November. November, we're probably going to do something more spooky because it's close to Halloween. We'll just like save a spooky one for there.
My birthday. Excited.
Is it really?
Yeah, my 21st birthday is on Friday the 13th.
Oh shit, that's crazy. Oh, 20. Wait, what? Really?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what's crazy. I didn't know you were that young, or that it's on the Friday the 13th. But anyway,
your baby.
I know, dude. Did you know that? I thought she was like slightly older than you, Konaru, and Konaru's older than 21. But you're 22, right?
I'm 22.
Yeah,
get it
I
right.
thought you were like 23, 24. Jeez, baby. Anyway, good God. Anyway,
I'm like 40 in your eyes.
No, really. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were not way older, but like. Because that means that you must have, like, the very first time we had you on the podcast, you must have been, like, 19. Anyway. This is blowing my mind. It really is. It's really blowing my mind. Anyway. Oh, shit. So, yeah. So, that's happening Friday the 13th, because we want to do the spooky ones. And I thought that was the spookiest idea I had. And we discussed it recently. We should do it, so let's do it. We'll see who's on. I have some people in mind. Next Tuesday, we're doing Animal Crossing.
Yes,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Maybe if I can get my capture card working and if I can find all the games, I want to show off my Wii and GameCube towns. Not too actively. Like we're not gonna stop and talk about it. I'll just like be walking through it like as we're going along on my screen share for my little box. So we'll see what happens. But Callie will be on that one for sure. She also has a lot of cool Animal Crossing merch, some stamps.
Yeah, her stamps. Go buy her stamps.
No, I actually plan to buy her stamps, but I want to wait till I see her. I mean, like, it's only like $5 shipping, but I'd rather save on the shipping. She's not that far from me. Can we go get, like, lunch or something? We'll probably hang out at some point, like, casually, and I'll just, bring the stamps, girl, and then I'll give you the cash. And also, I don't like buying, like, I don't think I have an Etsy account. I never buy anything on Etsy. I think you just check out as a guest, but still, anyway, buy your stuff too. Don't be Manuel. Don't be a boomer. Just buy your stuff on Etsy. That really was a very boomer thing in me. I will admit. I didn't want to go on Etsy because I don't have an account or make one, so I'm just gonna like wait till I see her in person. That was a very boomer thing of me to say.
No, I've done that. It just depends on who like I know personally, and if I know them personally, or they're going to like a con.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I'll tell her to bring her to Fanime and I'll just see her there. But I'll definitely see her at some point during Fanime. As long as they don't cancel Fanime. But
that's another story we'll talk about next week.
But so that's that. Both at 7 p.m. That's Friday and Tuesday respectively. And then hopefully the weekend after that, the Tuesday after that I mentioned, will be technically our not but yes 100th podcast. And hopefully that'll be on Furries with Max and or Ren, or one or the other, but hopefully both. So we'll see. And we're working towards our official 100th episode soon too. I don't know what we're due for that. That'll be a lot of fun. I never thought we'd make it to 100.
We should just have like a highlight reel of like every funny moment.
It's funny because I've actually made several highlight reels. Because I thought I'd upload them, I just never do.
But I mean of like actual funny things, not boomer funny.
I'm funny. Well, let's say that
I like how defeated you sounded.
Nobody saw it because like a lot of people did see it. I'm not saying nobody saw it, but like you weren't there. It was just like me. It was me, Jasmine, and Hina. But like when we started the podcast, she's like, "Hi, I'm Jasmine," and you heard somebody in the background like, "And she's a hoe," or something like that. And it was so loud, and we all just started, and it was right away. It was like the first, and like we did the introductions really fast. Like I didn't waste any time. I introduced myself, and then like he introduced himself, then Jasmine introduced herself, and then the second we got to Jasmine, it was like she's oh, and then we just started laughing. And then he didn't know either of us. She just met us like minutes before, so that was a great like meeting for her too. But anyway, so join us on Patreon, patreon.com/JJConnections. Get our early stuff. We're going to re-release a lot of old interviews. There's a lot of changes coming up soon. Konaru has been somewhat active, so I want to get her to finish a few more of the updated drawing thingies. And I have another friend of mine working on some too. I'm just not artistic. Support us on that. Shout out to Anna Kenneth, our current patrons. What's coming up to do with everyone else? I actually skipped some of that. Like, nothing coming up to do with me because I got a podcast, and I literally have nothing between now and the podcast. I was supposed to go see a movie tomorrow, but I'm not going to lie. I don't want to go because of all the coronavirus stuff. It's not even canceled. I just don't want to go.
I'm going to go to Denver and see my baby boy.
I like how you're going to Denver, but Jasmine is leaving Denver.
I know, right?
That's insane.
But it's not the same week, is it?
Yeah, it's this weekend, right?
Yeah, this weekend.
Oh, I'm going in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, she's going to Denver.
Go to round one.
Are you in the Denver area, Jasmine?
No, well, I'm not going to reveal where I live on the podcast, but no, I don't live super. Well, I live like close.
Go to round one. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, yes, round one.
Because I will spend hours there. I spent hours on Groove Coaster.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. On that note, so I guess the thing's happening except that Jasmine's going to NakaCon. What are you cosplaying?
Saber. That's what the glove is for.
Oh, no wonder it looked familiar, because I made a Saber glove like that. I was like, huh, she do Saber. I didn't want to ask, and then you said it right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'll send pics.
So she's doing that. Konaru's probably working this. Well, we'll see. We'll update you sooner than this weekend because we're going to be on Friday. So on that note, like, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and we made you laugh, you owe us a like. And if I made you mad, you owe us a dislike. And if Konaru made you mad, just go hassle. Don't hassle anyone. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say that, then I'm gonna get canceled. But yeah, once again, shout out to any kind of current patrons. Please go support us on Patreon. If you can't, that's awesome. Anyway, just keep watching our shit. Our last podcast did pretty good. The one we did with Ren, which is so funny because there was no main topic. We had the Reddit one, but we didn't actually do it. So I changed the title to randomness, but people still watched a ton of it. I was like, what the fuck? I think because of Ren, but I don't know. But I never mind. I told that story the other day. I'll save it for when Ren's back on. I want to embarrass her about something. But anyway, on that note, thank you, Jasmine, for joining us tonight. You came in at a good time. We should have just waited for you, but you came in like we were barely on for like 5 minutes before you came in. Konaru, no, thank you. Oh, I meant to mention this earlier. I'm gonna buy Konaru a camera and send it to her so she fucking gets her camera back.
I'm getting a mic.
And then we made fun of this because, like, me buying her a webcam and sending it to her is very To Catch a Predator-y. That's literally the punchline. Not the punchline, but that's literally like the starting thing to every To Catch a Predator file on Chris Hansen's To Catch Predator back in the day.
I'm gonna send you a webcam so that we can talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a
oh
webcam.
My god,
okay?
that's
Where do
creepy.
you live? I'm gonna go drive 8 hours to go give you this webcam.
No, it's not even 8 hours.
Well, I mean, that's the story they would always give or whatever. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I was saying you make more like 8 days to get here.
I know. I think it legitimately, because we've done it before. It's legitimately, if you drove without really stopping, it's like a 36 or 40 hour drive if you didn't stop.
It's 48 hours.
So yeah, it'll take me about 3.5 days to get there with normal hours of stopping to eat and sleep.
Oh.
But anyway, good night. Thank you all for watching.
Good night.
See you guys later. Peace. Thank you everyone in the chat, by the way. I know we had consistent viewers, so thank you for sticking around. Good night.
Thank you.